Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat on the way in. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Yeah. Shout out to Gender Warlord. K Michelle, right? Oh boy. All right. So this stream is not going to be long whatsoever. We already know what K Michelle is on, but she's making country music now. She got played by Ryan Lochte. Oops. And that didn't deter her from the white man propaganda campaign that she's on. And oh, by the way, let's pause for the cause. We will be reviewing, most likely, um Chrissy's response to Ebony K. Williams being on the Breakfast Club. So that's going to be fun. Not. And yeah, so of course. All right, continuing. We already know what K. Michelle is on. She must have forgot that Ryan Lochte was talking behind her back when they were getting their little, interracial situationship going. But this is a exercise in classism, right? This is an exercise in classism. Dear black men, as I've said before, this is not about what you haven't done outside of you not making these women upper middle class and above white women, right? So, dear black men, do not beat yourself up. Do not fret. Do not, throw a fit. This is not about you and what you haven't done. It is okay, dear black men, right? So let me see if I can hurry up and play this clip before this light turn green. Okay, here we go.
I think goes forward. I think we need to move beyond just what is your political party affiliation, and I think really kind of get into these other kinds of deeper, I think, aspects of politics and how that is shaping, kind of how people, as I called it, right, vet each other. But I think also, right, this shaping of what it means to be desirable, because again, right, it seems to be kind of confusing, right, that people want people who are, I mean, they'll say they want people who aren't racist, who aren't sexist, who aren't XYZ, right, because that's what we're supposed to want, right, but then they seem to have this kind of confusion or this disjunction where they still desire, right, kind of cisgender, heterosexual white men, and particularly with the women that I interviewed, there was a lot of desire for white men with beards, this very particular aesthetic that they were very attracted to. So there's kind of all of those aspects, right?
So, dear black men, once again, this is not about you and what you haven't done outside of not making black women upper middle class and above white women, right? So, I want black men to really consider that when you listen to these things, when you see that K. Michelle is saying this, when you see the Chrissies, when you see the Yannies, understand something. This is a exercise in classism for them, right? We're 50 or so years out of Jim Crow. They're looking at black men like, you ain't make me upper middle class white women. I want to be like Asian women too, right? I want to be like white women too. And when we say Asian women, we're talking about Asian women that are not with Asian men. Once again, that are not with Asian men, right? American-born Asian women that marry outside of their race at some 50+%, primarily to white men. Black women look at that and that should have been us, right? So when you see K. Michelle say what she said, and this propaganda, this constant white man worship propaganda, black men don't feel any kind of way. And I know we have brothers both in the black manosphere and outside of the black manosphere that are like, well, if we did this, and if we built Wakanda, and if we conquered the world, and maybe if black men collectively, and Sarge Willie Peters 100% right about this, if black men won a collective race war, but as the world is currently constituted, this is not about you, black men, right? This is not about you. This is about women of color, black women specifically, and them and their white male worship and white man chase because of where they hold white masculinity, right? As I've said before, when you have a neoliberal assessment of men and masculinity, right, and your goal in life is to practice conspicuous consumption at the highest level, as the world is currently constituted, white men will be the preferred men, period. It won't even be Asian men, because although Asian men earn more per capita than everyone else, they're not white men. They don't have the status of white men in this society, right? That is much of the reason why, once again, their own women, American-born Asian women, marry outside of their race at over 50%, primarily to white men. Let's be very clear. When you listen to these people talk, when you listen to Chrissy speak, when you listen to Cynthia G speak, when you listen, they're not talking about non-black men writ large. They're speaking about white men particularly, right? This is not about love. This is barely about attraction. This is about status. This is about positionality, right? For some of this is about ego, an inferiority complex that only a white man can quelch when the white man finds you attractive or appealing, right? So I want to make it clear that, you know, I get it, black men, shout out to Gender Warlord. We know what this is, right? Black women have made it abundantly clear. They're loud as hell, you right? And we need to be clear, dear black men is here. This is not on you, right? Black women have been in this country. I know they didn't come exactly when black men came, but let's say 16, 19, and they're over it. They're tired of the fight. Shout out to Chrissy with her, you know, continuously insulting Ebony K. Williams with the, oh, you could tell she's a social justice warrior, and that's one of her issues. Hey, just let y'all know. And she means it in the most negative, pejorative way humanly possible. Don't bring that pro-black stuff to a non-black man, right? Hey, this is that Ayn Rand right worldview. Don't bring that pro-black stuff to a non-black man. Leave the caring about black people at home, right? So all that talk, and I'm so glad that Chrissy is saying it. All that talk of you could be pro-black and sleep white that black women like to throw out there. Yeah, we're different than black men. Black men try to run from their blackness when they end up with these non-black women. They hate black women, etc., etc. Yeah, Chrissy's putting a death knell to all of that. Chrissy said, yeah, dead all of that, right? All that colorism talk, dead all of that. What happened, right? All that mud black community, the community, yeah. This is what anti-black, white racist, white worshiping black women look like. This is what it looked like, everyone. Right? This is what it looks like. So when we tell them to go out and date out, some of them are going to heed that, and that's not the problem. The problem is the negative campaign and negative PR. See, the white male worship doesn't exist in a vacuum. It's juxtaposed to black male denigration, right? It's juxtaposed to black men denigration. Even Chrissy and these other, you know, content creators are saying, you know, we could date out and not worship at these other men. We could, you know, stop putting these other men on a pedestal. Dear Chrissy, they can't help it. Especially with content creators like you who've been talking crap about black men for the better part of a decade, right? And comparing black men to non-black men and deeming black men lacking. Unlike black men, these other men date outside their race and they still find their women attractive. What are you talking about? Right? Just because you have horrible situations with black men. Loser. Right? We also hear, and based off of K. Michelle's already history with white men, look at all these black women who keep on saying, you know, I've been swelling for 5 years, 10 years. I've been swelling for a decade. I've had great experiences with non-black men. Why aren't you married to one then? Oops. Side note, dear black women, you're getting your advice from a black woman who told you, number one, she doesn't want to have children. Number two, she oscillates between wanting to be married and not wanting to be married. Number three, she's either polyamorous or polygynous. I just want you to remember, you're getting your advice. You're listening to this woman talk crap about black men who told you, once again, she doesn't want to get married. Number two, she goes back and forth between whether, excuse me, rewind. You're getting your advice from a woman that, number one, says she doesn't want to have children. Number two, says she goes back and forth between wanting to be married one day and not wanting to be married. Now remember, this is a woman who's slowly approaching Ebony K. Williams' age. And number three, once again, it's either polygynous or polyamorous. But who am I? Y'all subscribe to Themis and watch him too, right? And why does Mr. Z bring up Chrissy with this conversation? First of all, because of the video she made last night. But secondly, because just like K. Michelle, Chrissy has these experiences, and you don't hear about her horrible experiences with non-black men, right? You don't hear about that. Or they tell you, I've been dating out, or I've been swirling since. Yeah, and if these men are so great, aren't you married to one of them? And just like K. Michelle, who went through it with Ryan Lochte, for those of you that don't know, K. Michelle once was in a situationship with Ryan Lochte. Yes, the Olympian Ryan Lochte. Yes, the white dude with the grills, Ryan Lochte. The swimmer, second place, behind Michael Phelps, Ryan Lochte. And guess what? Ryan Lochte would sit in that while talking crap about her, behind her back. Uh-oh. Did that stop K. Michelle from years later still speaking the praises of white men? Of course not. See, if that's a black rapper, it's Men Are in Good People. Ain't that right, K. Michelle? On her Men Are in Good People tour. I guess Men Are in Good People minus white men, huh? Right? And thank you for the super sticker. Kev C, thank you for the super sticker. Right? So men are in good people right up until it comes time, right, to potentially be married, I guess. Then it's all about the white man. So I played Dr. Chantel Bugs, mixed black woman, who's done real research on this, not just some anecdotal BS. Shout out to you, Chrissy. Right? And straight up said, and I want to be very clear, the reason why I played what she said in the beginning with the political statement, right? We have to expand our idea of the political, right? Not just who someone votes for or their party political affiliation. It's because what I'm saying is the swirling and divesting is a political gesture. It's a movement, right? Advocating for black women to ban their options with all of this fervor, it is a political statement, right? And that is why I made sure that we played that beginning part. And advocating for black women to date outside their race, primarily the white men, let's be clear, potentially be married to white men, it doesn't exist in a vacuum. What you are saying is that white men are better than black men. You are saying that without saying that. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you truly believe that, fine. But that does then too mean that, dear black women, you are too anti-black. Anti-black man means you're also anti-black. I'm sorry, black women don't get to dictate in a vacuum what is black and not black, and what is pro-black and not pro-black, what is anti-black and what is not anti-black. So you too, dear black women that speak this way, are anti-black. right? So I had to play Dr. Chantel Bugs earlier so that y'all could hear from a PhD, not one of these um bachelor's degree in marketing ass black women with a color complex. So you can hear a black woman tell you, excuse me, a mixed black woman tell you from her own research, not no anecdotal crap, how women in general sound, right? How women in general sound, right? And it was important that we covered it that way. Let me see if I can hurry up and play this next clip. And y'all have heard this one before, but let's play this again.
Interaction with each other. So what we found is that race is the deal breaker of all characteristics. It operates more strongly than education, physical characteristics. It is the deal breaker. And one of the things that we often found, I thought was interesting in interviewing, especially many of the white men, is this aggrieved feeling that they were disadvantaged in online dating, and that they were being ignored. And yet, in our quantitative analysis, we find that white men are the most desired of all men. And this has been shown in many other platforms too. So this is not specific to the platform that we're looking at. Our quantitative analysis showed that almost all women, or all women of all races, and almost all gay men, actually black men did not show this, that their preference was strongest for white men. Now this preference for white men was statistically significant for other races, but especially strong for white women. But I found it really interesting that women and gay men of other races would respond first to white men and only secondly to men of their same race.
And there you go. Y'all have heard Mr. Z play that before, but we had to play it again so that we can say that what K. Michelle is saying is not nothing new. We are not surprised. It is understandable. You live in an anti-black white supremacist society. This is not about black men being dogs or black men being losers, what black men haven't built, and black men are not taking life seriously enough, because across the color race spectrum, it is all about white men for women of color. Right? So, dear black men, I get it. I know we have some elders who want us to get our act right and, take life more seriously and, get into the six-figure club, et cetera, right? Right? Get into some hobbies and, yeah, all of that. Great. That's not why we are having issues with black women. We're having issues with black women because black women feel that black men should have won a global race war to make them essentially what the European beauty standard is, right? Flip the European beauty standard on its head and make black women the standard. And according to black women of West African descent, make West African featured black women the beauty standard. And until black men win a collective race war, whether it's US race war, but definitely global race war, these women will show you their ass and give you their ass to kiss, generally be unpleasant, generally be mean, condescending, right? What did the young lady tell us? You can't treat white men how you treat black men, right? You got to come with your A game when it comes to white men. You got to be prompt and on time when it comes to white men, right? So that is why Mr. Z played these two clips. Let it be known. Shout out to everybody in the black manosphere. Let it be known, this is not about what black men haven't done outside of black men not winning a race war. Dear K. Michelle, I get it. You're making country music now. I get it, right? Apparently, you forgot that Ryan Lochte was smashing while talking crap behind your back. Yeah. Mr. Swaggerlicious white dude with the grills. Right? Smashing while talking crap behind your back. But according to Chrissy, just because you fell one time with a white dude or fell one time with a non-black man, don't just write him off. We got to talk about all the times y'all fell with black men too. Imagine that. Imagine trying to play top trumps, which man is worse, and comparing black men to non-black men. Imagine a black woman engaging in that. But yes, that's the world we live in, right? That's the world we live in. And I'm gonna have to read this quick. Demetrius says, Chrissy B like acknowledges colorism, then promotes divestment. Also, I went ahead and emailed Professor Addy content. Critique it if you want. Okay, I will. Right? And thank you, Demetrius. Right? And we'll leave that highlighted for a little bit. But yeah. So this is the real. Shout out to Gender Warlord for adding me to this. Right? I might come back with a part 2 later on, so that we could get into it. And I guess I'll tie in Chrissy to that also. Right? You know, and I know if I'm borging, my apologies. I'm about to reach my destination anyway. But yeah, right. But yeah, so you know, we covered this, and like I said, my disclaimer is, dear black men, you got to do what you do for yourself, right? And for whatever woman is down with your program. And for those of us that would prefer it to be a black woman, then hopefully a black woman. But if not, so be it. If black women are assessing black men and other men through a neoliberal lens, and they are just like other women of color are all about the white man, then so be it. Right? If that's what we are, so be it. If that's what we are. Right? And on that note, love, peace, and chicken grease. We will pause right there. Right? Y'all go check out other Black Manosphere content, other non-Manosphere content. You know, this might be the shortest stream Mr. Z has ever done. I think it is. We're under 25 minutes. Yeah, that is definitely the shortest stream Mr. Z has ever done. Right? And on that note, everyone, like I said, y'all go check out, we'll pause right here. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Y'all go check out other Black Manosphere content, other non-Manosphere content. But I had to come to y'all with this, and we'll probably do a part 2 to this, and I'll just tie in Chrissy in her video also. But as I said, thank you, Gender Warlord, for the link. Demetrius, I'll check out the email. And we'll just end it right there, everyone. Y'all have a great rest of y'all day. Mr. Z out.